Happy Sabbath once again. This week's lesson is absolutely very interesting. How many of you have gone through the lesson? Of course, we all know it's quite a very similar story, but it has some very good thoughts, thought-provoking way. And I think so this will encourage each one of us more practically as we go through. We are on lesson 4. My God. We have started 2020 and we are here in the 4th week of January. Can you believe? Now, how was your week today? How was your week this time? Was it okay? How is Brother Reginald Judds?
He's doing better
Uh-huh.
than how he was Saturday.
Okay.
Now the tubes are out.
Uh-huh.
The only thing they gave him oxygen.
Okay.
That's the only tubes. He can talk to him.
Okay. Yeah, we continue to pray for him. Okay. God in His own infinite mercy will be able to guide us through. No problem. Yes, beautiful. Let's get into Sabbath school lesson just straight away, and we'll see what are the implications that we have. I want to summarize the whole stuff here, and it's absolutely very beautiful, more practical. If you have a Sabbath school lesson, it is lesson 4, and we are on page 28. It is from furnace to palace. Now, once I know this topic on from the furnace to palace, what should be able to get into your mind? What is the thought that should be able to creep into your mind? From furnace to palace. Remember furnace?
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Huh?
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Yes, yeah, that's one thing, but I have a concrete thing in my mind.
It's a blessing of God.
It's a blessing of God. Yeah, it is quite similar to a blessing of God, what I'm thinking about. Furnace to palace.
God honors His children when we are completely dependent.
Okay, and you're absolutely right. If I have to put it in other words, the same thing what you thought about is, can we?
Yeah, alright, like when in Revelation, when like he burned, when God burns everything,
Mhm.
right? And then he says in Jerusalem afterwards, like furnace.
Okay, when you talk about the sanctuary, can you be able to remember, the burnt offering?
Oh yeah, that's it, right.
Okay, remember that, number 1. Number 2, remember Moses, the burning bush.
Exactly.
Okay, when God revealed Himself. And of course, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, God revealed in the fire. Okay, so that's what it is talking about when you talk about furnace, right? Lion's den is a part of a furnace. And in the book of Revelation, we talk about, that when people doesn't want to listen to God, doesn't, belong to God, will be able to put it in the furnace. That's what we read in the book of Revelation, right? It's a very common talk about it. That's what it is called about, okay? Furnace. When you talk about palace, what should be able to come to your mind? First thing that comes to your mind when you talk about palace.
Power.
Power. Nebuchadnezzar. Okay, and things like that. And we remember King Solomon.
Yeah.
Okay, and we remember Babylon itself.
Right.
And what is happening in the recent history today? When we talk about palace, Buckingham Palace, we have Harry leaving,
Yes.
right?
He's giving 80 billion.
80 billion just that way. Okay. I wish I had about just $1,000 or $2,000, so I use that money for, some purpose here or there. Okay, so that what this palace is all about. And again, if we have to think about palace, we think about heaven,
Oh, yes.
ultimately. So when we combine from furnace to palace, it is talking about Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego in particular. I want to connect this one to the present time for you and me. Many times you and I think about the little problems and the difficulties that we face are so enormous. What the problem we face is not another man's problem. Every individual faces different, ways of life that he faces different types of problems. But when we talk about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, when I talk about from furnace to palace, there is only one thing reminds me. You know what? I can rephrase the topic and say, it is the reward of faithfulness. You see? So rewards are not being just gotten just that way. It has to be earned at times. Earned in the sense, like in a spiritual sense, it doesn't mean that, salvation by works. It's not that way. Because faith is an important integral part of a Christian experience. So, the Bible is absolutely very clear as we go through this Sabbath school lesson. You and I will be able to find out how faithful these 3 or 4 young men were. From the day one, when they landed up in Babylon as exiles in a heathenistic land, and then being so faithful, being so strong, never deterred themselves at any cost. And we will compare the same faith of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego during our time. The furnace, Babylon, is connected to the darkness of this world. Where the world is culminated with a whole lot of truth and error, which is imparting in each one of our lives, what is the stand that we can take, or how can we take a step forward with faith, just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Let's get into the lesson today. And it's absolutely very interesting, and I hope that you all will enjoy, the lesson today. And listen to this one. Daniel chapter 3 verse 17 is a memory text. It talks about our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us from your hand, O king. You see the confidence of these people. And we know there's a golden image. Last week we learned about the image, had different metals altogether, right? The head of gold, and we had silver, and we have bronze, we have iron, and the mixture of iron and clay, if you are aware of last week's lesson. And what did Nebuchadnezzar do? When he saw the dream, when the dream was explained, he was so much taken up, and he said, Daniel, come on, I think so you are the wisest man ever lived that I have seen. Nobody can compare. And he acknowledges God and he says, your God is great. And as the Babylonians were talking about the God, and they said, only the God who is not of this flesh can be able to reveal. And God proved, and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego will become an instrument or channels to proving who God is all about, right? By the little faith of action. I don't call it as a little faith, it is the greatest faith. What is faith? Hebrews chapter 11 is an unseen things hoped for. So what did Nebuchadnezzar do? God said, oh Nebuchadnezzar, you are the king of gold. That's what he said. But what did Nebuchadnezzar do? He forgot all the other parts of the body were made in different metals. So which means his kingdom is going to pass away. But what did he do? He took a little pride in himself and says, let me make an image of completely gold. So which means, what is he trying to say to God? What is he trying to say to God?
I don't need you.
Huh?
I don't need you, I'm better than
I don't need you. Okay. If you think about that concept, it's directly saying, I don't need you. Right? I don't need you. Yes, absolutely. If he doesn't need God, then what is he all about? And don't ever forget, Nebuchadnezzar was chosen by God to bring the children of Israel all the way from Jerusalem to Babylon. And what should remind us when we talk about Nebuchadnezzar, when he says that, oh, nothing can be done, I can do this. One thing reminds me of is this, the Tower of Babel. When they built the Tower of Babel, what did the children of Israel say? So what did those people say? What did those people say? Why did they start building that Tower of Babel?
They're trying to get to God.
They want to get into heaven.
Yeah.
So which means the same thing, right? We don't need you, God, to protect us. Salvation by works. That's what. Salvation by work. That's the reason the name called Babylon means confusion. The other name for Babylon is confusion. God confused the whole language. Now, why do you think so? Nebuchadnezzar made the statement. He said, okay, let me make the whole structure in gold. Okay, he made a structure of gold. And then what happened? There was a worship service there, right? There were musical instruments. Music was played. Just quite similar to the way how the worship is all about. Listen to this one. Musical instrument were played. There are 7 instruments which were played. That's what is recorded. And forget about the 7 instruments. There were singers. Of course, there was no singing going on. They said only the music has to be played. And then, next to that, there was fiery furnace. I told you, remember, the sanctuary service. You see how Satan counterfeits every part of what God wants to do. There was music, which was part of the worship, right? Music was started in heaven, don't ever forget. And then second, there was a fiery furnace. Nebuchadnezzar has already been made that way. I don't know why he had that mind of having the furnace being instituted. But don't ever forget, if you have to look into the sanctuary, as soon as you enter into the sanctuary, there was an altar of burnt offering. Quite similar to worship service. Can you get that? And then, what happens? If you go a little bit further of Nebuchadnezzar, we have the image. That is the golden one that everybody has to worship. So, the phenomena or the principle is this. Once the music is started playing, everybody has to what? Worship. Bow down to the image. If not, they're going to be taken and put in the furnace. This is the king's order. Listen to this one carefully. If the same thing would have come to us in this 21st century, what would have been the reciprocation? Like, don't ever forget. If you have to go to the book of Revelation, chapter 14, the Bible is absolutely very clear. In the last days, if you have not been able to worship the beast or the image, you can never buy it, you can never sell. That's what the Bible says. Have I read that right? Have I read that right? Okay. If it happens for us next week,
Can I say something? Can I say something?
Mm-hmm.
What if I were to tell you that it's already happened?
It's happening now in different parts of the world, yes, that's for sure.
I mean, like it happened like 50 years ago. The Federal Reserve.
Mm-hmm.
She back your dollar bill, has a pyramid on it, with an eye.
And in fact, to be very honest with you, if you have to look into the history.
But I was also saying every country,
Uh-huh.
like when you look on the current currency exchange rate,
Mm-hmm.
the euro is right above
Mm-hmm.
the dollar,
Mm-hmm.
and most countries are using the dollar
Mm-hmm.
as their standard
Mm-hmm.
currency.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
And the whole world's economic condition depends on the dollar. Do you know that, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm. If the dollar crumbles, everything just crumbles, whatever the rate of that money is all about. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So which means, don't ever forget, United States of America is God ordained prophecy. Do you know that? Mm-hmm. This is the blessed land. And forget about the blessed land. And this land is a prophetical land. Do we know that? That's what the book of Revelation talks about. Of course, we will get that arena in a different angle. Okay, if America crashes, in fact, if you are looking into the impeachment trial which is happening, Adam Schiff is making some of the very most beautiful, astounding, and realistic statements, which is absolutely very biblical, at the same time, realistic. I don't know whether you're following. Okay. I'm very much interested in knowing how this guy is trying to speak out and things like that. Which means they're telling this land was one of the most, the whole world looks up to the United States of America. You know that? Yes, it looks up. And in every angle, this has been, it can dictate terms, it can do a whole lot of things. That's what the biblical prophet, we don't want to get into that angle. But one thing is for sure, let us get back to the image. In the last days, the Bible says it very clearly before the Lord would come the second time in Revelation chapter 14. The Bible is absolutely very clear. The three angels' message. The first angel's message, am I right? What does the Bible say? What does the Bible say? Fear God and give glory to Him, right? Revelation chapter 14, verse 6 and 7. What is the second angel's message? So which means it is talking about Babylon is fallen. What does it mean? The Babylon which existed during the time of Nebuchadnezzar has fallen. And the Babylon is connected to this world in the last days. And it says, if the Babylon in the past has fallen down, the Babylon, which means the world of this earth, also is going to what? Fall down. And before the Babylon could fall, I'm talking about the present world situation, what we are relying upon. What is the third angel's message? What is the third angel's message? Let us read that one. Revelation chapter 14. Let's turn our Bibles to Revelation chapter 14. Yeah. Revelation chapter 14, verse 8 and 9. Revelation chapter 14, verse 9. What does the Bible say? If anyone has your Bible, you can read that.
And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice,
Okay.
If any man worship the beast and his image,
If any man worship the beast or the image,
and receive his mark in his forehead
forehead,
or in his hand,
and his hand,
the same shall drink the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. That he shall be tormented with the fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels.
Are you able to see a glimpse of fiery furnace? Can you see the glimpse of a little bit of fiery furnace here? Yes or no? Fire and brimstone? Yeah. Yeah. So let us take this three angels' message. Number one, fear God and give glory to Him is pertaining to worship, right? The second angel's message is reminding us about the Babylon is absolutely fallen, right? Number three is telling worship only God, not the beast or the image, right? Now when we go to Babylon backside, and you and I will be able to know a very important implication that the image was made up of gold and everybody was asked to bow down for that image. There's another astounding thing in the Sabbath school lesson. Listen to this statement. It is so beautiful. It says, we should remember Nebuchadnezzar. It challenges God. I am the king. In the Babylonian ancient history, the kings were gods. The Pharaoh was a god in place of God. When you think about these concepts, what should come to your mind? What should come to your mind? Heaven. Why was Satan cast down from heaven? Like God. What is Nebuchadnezzar trying to do? He's putting himself in place of God. What's the third angel's message telling? Worship God. Worship the image of the beast. And is that going to happen? Yes, it's going to happen. So what does Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego did there? Whatever it is, what did they do? Then he bowed down. And the beauty of Nebuchadnezzar is this. Nebuchadnezzar is the one who got this, three young people, okay, to come into the throne temple for him. Nebuchadnezzar is the one who gave them an opportunity to come there, to be a part of the ruling kingdom. He is the one who gave them authority. Now, he feels pity for them. Even though he was raised, even though he was fury, he gives a second chance for them. He gives a second chance, but what does Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego say? And you will be able to, find out in this one. Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, they were 10 times wiser than the other sages of Babylon. After all the experts have failed to remind him of the thing. Daniel's report was absolutely very good, and he liked, and he acknowledges God. But even though Nebuchadnezzar acknowledged God, even though Nebuchadnezzar was being so firm about who God was all about, he experienced in every angle. But in spite of that, why do you think so? I want to ask this question. Why do you think so? Huh? Yeah, why do you think so? He made a statement and said, I want to make sure that everybody has to listen to me and Mama. Why did you the statement? Want to be like God? Okay, what are some of the characteristics do you think so that made him to speak that way? Most probably so selfish, arrogant, pride, self-centeredness. Even though he knew that is the power, he is the power, but still he didn't want to give up on this. Let us compare that one a little bit with you and me today. Is there any difference? We as a simple human beings, we have these elements of pride, our accomplishments. Can we leave that just that way? Can we leave that? It's very difficult. My home, my family, I have earned this, I have developed this, I bought this, this is mine, I worked hard, and I deserve. You see, what is ours? Until unless, if God wouldn't choose Nebuchadnezzar, he wouldn't have been a king. Last time we read, God gave the children of Israel into the hands of the king. It is not that King Nebuchadnezzar had all the power to get them. No, until unless if God doesn't will, nothing can happen. So we saw last week, God is in ultimate control of it. Listen to this one. How can we learn not to fall with this pride, self-centeredness, selfishness, accomplishment, all these things? How can we learn not to fall in every subtle way into the same trap that Nebuchadnezzar does?
Well, I do. For me, just remind myself on the faults that I got to work on. If you keep focusing on growing yourself and noticing everything about you. Notice the good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely right. I like that the statement very much. Let's go a little bit further. And go to the Monday's lesson, you'll be able to find out an important aspect of this, a call to worship. If you have to look into the book of Daniel chapter 3 verse 8 to 15 and compare that with the Revelation chapter 13 verse 11 to 18, an important thing is being mentioned here. The image of gold standing on the plain of Dura, whose name is Akkadian name means walled place, gives the impression of the vast sanctuary. And if this were not enough, the furnace nearby can evoke an altar. Babylonian music used to be a part of the liturgy. 7 types of musical instrument was there. And then there was an adoration protocol. And today also the same thing, right? If you have to look into the same thing, beautifully said. Listen to this very carefully, very important for you and me. Today we are bombarded from every side by calls to adapt new lifestyles, new ideologies. You know, when Shadrach, Meshach, and Daniel, they had their own ideologies, own way of life. Many times we say that we have to get adjusted to a whole lot of new things, okay? But listen to this one. We are bombarded with every side by cause of adapt new lifestyle, new ideologies, and to abandon a commitment to the authority of God as expressed in His Word, and to surrender our allegiance to the contemporary successor of the Babylonian Empire. To the allure of the world at times seems overwhelming. But we should remind ourselves that our ultimate allegiance belongs to the Creator, God, and God alone. And don't ever forget, in the book of Revelation chapter 13, announces the inhabitation of the earth will be called to worship the image of the beast. Please read Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. If you have to read that one, you'll be able to understand a very implicative method. Okay. What does the Bible say in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16?
And he cast all,
Uh-huh.
both small and great,
Uh-huh.
rich and poor,
Uh-huh.
free and bond,
Uh-huh.
to receive a mark in the right hand
Uh-huh.
or in the foreheads.
Okay. So, and then if you have to read further, what does the Bible say?
And that no man might buy or sell,
Uh-huh.
save he that he had the mark,
Mm-hmm.
or the name of the beast,
Uh-huh.
or the number of his name.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. What is the number of the name? Okay, listen to this one. Who all should call into worship in the last days? Who are all called to worship the beast in the last days? Listen to this one. Oh, number one is rich. Number two is what? Poor. And then?
Free and slave.
Free. Number three is free. And then? Number four is slave, right? And then?
To be marked on the right.
Okay, there are 6 things which is given.
Poor,
Rich and poor,
small and great.
small and great, rich and poor,
And free and slave.
free and slave. 6.
What is it? To receive a mark in the hand or in the forehead.
If you have to go to that study, it's an entirely different study, but just to make you understand. Okay, you know, in psychology, we have the parts of the brain, right? This one is called as the frontal lobe, which is called as the receiver. When you talk about mark, it is not on a particular mark that will come and stamp on your head or on your hand. It simply implicitly says that what you get into your mind, which is imprinted, and hand represents whatever the mind dictates and the works that you try to do. That makes sense? It is a simple phenomenon. Okay? And that's a different study altogether, and we can get into that one, no problem. But there's an important thing that we have to learn from this one. When Nebuchadnezzar so selfishly, so arrogantly, when he wanted these 3 Hebrew people to bow down, okay, they didn't bow down. Listen to the statement of what they said. Listen to the statement of what they said. Daniel chapter 3 verse 15, very important. Don't ever forget Revelation chapter 3 verse 15 and 16 and Daniel chapter 3 verse 15 and 16. It's quite similar. But you see what happened when Nebuchadnezzar insisted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to bow down. Listen to this one. Daniel chapter 3 verse 15.
Now, if you are ready, when you hear the sound of the horn,
See, second chance is given to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And that's where he makes the statement. And what does he say once again?
when you hear
When you hear the sound,
of the horn,
uh-huh,
pipe,
uh,
lyre,
uh,
trigon,
uh-huh,
harp,
uh-huh,
bagpipe,
uh-huh,
and every kind of music,
uh-huh,
to fall down and worship the image
uh-huh,
that I have made,
I have made.
well and good.
Okay, and then, what does it say? Ah,
But if you do not worship,
uh-huh,
you shall immediately
uh,
be cast into the burning fiery furnace.
uh-huh,
the God
Ah.
who will deliver you out of my hand.
Listen to this one. Is the king Nebuchadnezzar making the statement? What is the statement, brother?
Who is the God
Who is the God
who can deliver you
who can deliver you
from my hand?
from my hands?
So proud.
Now, why did he make that statement? Challenging God. And see, anybody challenge God and been faced?
That's what happens when you have a lot of gold.
Very
Which
hard,
is-
good.
which replaces God.
How do you summarize the whole thing and put that into the modern terminology, Brother Anand?
Yeah, here's another statement I was going to make, which is, that's also what happens, or do we see anyone penalizing or punishing others who do not agree with their idea of worship today? Do we see that? Punishing and penalizing people, either who are ideologically opposed to you or do not agree with your idea of worship. Do we see that happening today?
There's a lot of cults that do that today.
Yes.
Is it happening today?
Yes?
Who is experiencing that firsthand? Do you know that?
Yeah, we are experiencing that.
Exactly. So, the idea of Christianity is this for everyone to know, and in the right time we have to make this known, which is Christianity is redemptive, not punitive. It always seeks to save the lost rather than punish anyone who is lost. So, in the experience of Nebuchadnezzar, we can see how it went so that we can learn. But obviously, that has been forgotten, and we can see that nowadays, especially in politics, where there is that blending of the power of state and the power of church in order for the state to enforce the church, which is antithetical to freedom of choice. So let us never forget how this Babylon will be reincarnated. And it is happening in our midst and outside our very city we are living in.
I want to just emphasize once again, and who is the God who will deliver you from my hands? When the response, what's the response when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came? Please read verse 17 and 18. Listen to this one. As Brother Anand was talking about, what should be our response?
Same
3, 17 and 18.
If this be so,
If this be so,
our God whom we serve is able to deliver us.
they knew very much. Our God will be able to deliver us. We know the power of God. We have experienced that. We have seen that. We have tasted. We know who God is our. The very moment that He asked us to eat from the king's table when we rejected, and our God, proved Himself that we are more wiser. They knew, they experienced. When the dream was talked about, they knew, they experienced who God was all about. And with that experience, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are speaking to King Nebuchadnezzar, who has all the authority to put him into the furnace. And they knew very well, it is not King Nebuchadnezzar got them to the palace, it is God is the one who got them to the palace. So here they're demonstrating the fear for God who got them to palace, not the person whom they're seeing as Nebuchadnezzar got them into palace. No. Does that make sense? And the statement is so powerful. Read that once again, sister.
If this be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and He will deliver us out of your hand.
Okay.
O King.
Okay. And then go a little bit further.
But if not,
But if not,
be it known to you,
Ah.
O King, that we will not serve your God or worship the golden image that you have set up.
Don't you forget one thing we have to learn from Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego is until unless you experience God firsthand, you can never ever in the last days be able to be faithful. The Bible says it very clearly, if you are not being able to be faithful in the little things, you can never be faithful in the great things. You know,
I'm thinking, I don't know if it is personal. There are more Jews in Babylon at that time. But they might be thinking, I'm thinking, if they must have worshipped or they didn't worship, we don't know. And nobody was paying attention to them. These are more, they are paying attention to these people because they are jealous of them. But I'm wondering if the other Jews in Babylon, if they worshipped or not, but if they did, maybe they are thinking that, oh, God understands what I have in my heart. I trust God. He knows that I respect Him. I reverence Him. God will understand that you worship because King is there. I don't know.
Is it wrong? Is it wrong that way?
Yes.
You're breaking the second
No.
commandment.
Why is it wrong? See, because they are fearful and, somebody wants to come and kill you up and things like that. And looking into the aspect of the fiery furnace itself, people have been shaken in every angle. Why not? God is an understandable God, right?
Yeah, God understands you.
God understands, right?
But it was not the general population was there. It was mainly the provinces, elders, officers, nobles, priests. Those were the people who were in the crowd, who were asked to worship. So they could go and
Everyone who hears the horn.
no, the main people are the provinces, people who are the head of the state, who are asked to do that. And then they can go back to their places and ask the other general population to do it.
Okay, fine. Just imagine. Just imagine the whole Jewish community would have asked to bow down.
Won't be done, and we won't have it.
Do you get my point? And they never bow. Just imagine they have not bowed down. Or they have bowed down. Can we succumb to the circumstances? The greatest lesson that we can learn from Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. Why am I speaking about Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego now? Why were the names being so prominent today? I'm giving us an opportunity to compare ourselves in this last days because they were faithful. Go back to Hebrews chapter 11. The names were written there, right? Whose names were those? People who are faithful. The chapter of Hebrews 11 is talking about the chapter of faith. What is he talking about? Why is he been able to be expounding every angle about Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego? Every individual talks about that today. In this 21st century, in the last days, taking courage from those people so that we can be able to stand. Why? Because they stood for what is right. And they said, even though our God will not rescue us.
Yeah, because God didn't rescue all of the people before. Before them. They knew some God let them go and some He rescued. They know what will happen. May happen, may not happen. But they decided to do the right thing. And I also have this question sometimes. If they're doing right thing, but if they know in the furnace that God is really with them, because they didn't see, but heathen kings saw the whole.
Yeah, that's another next lesson. Okay, that's another beautiful part of that's another beautiful part of it. Okay, but if you have to come into this test of fire, let us remind ourselves one thing: let us not succumb to the circumstances and then act accordingly. And that's what the lesson is about. a belief system, just for something little, just for the benefit of something. Let us not lose, something which is absolutely greater. If God has to brought miracle in our lives, we are not supposed to succumb to the little circumstances. He's calling us to be faithful in little things, so that God will use us in a mighty way to do the greater and the mightier things of life. That's what it means to say. Ultimately, the beauty of this one is, though they know their God can deliver them, but they do not have the guarantee that He will. Nevertheless, they refuse to obey the king's command, even knowing that they could be burned alive. What do we get? Where do we get this kind of faith? Where can we get this kind of faith? Where can we? But take Elijah. Where was his faith when Jezebel was behind her? Take all the disciples. Where was their faith when Jesus was put on the cross of Calvary? Peter denied 3 times, Judas betrayed, and all the disciples went back to their work. Where was their faith? Comparing that faith with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Just imagine, in the last days, what will happen to our faith? Where did they get this faith from? Where do you think they got the faith from? One-on-one relationship with God. And just imagine the disciples, after the death of Jesus Christ, after Jesus said, do not go out again. Wait for the Spirit to come and fall in. You see the importance of the Spirit of the Lord dwelling in our hearts. How much of importance that we have to invite the Spirit to come and dwell into our hearts, so that the Spirit will convict us to be able to stand firm. What happened to the disciples? After which, the same Peter who denied Jesus 3 times, what did he say? You put my head down and my leg up, and then you crucify me. I'm not worthy, he says, right? What about Matthew? You know how was Matthew killed? He was dragged on a horse cart. What about Stephen? When he was stoned to death, he was praising God. What about Paul and Silas? They were praising God. Where did this faith come from? Of course, as I said, from one-to-one relationship, when the Spirit of the Lord being poured, as in Joel chapter 3, it talks about, the Spirit of the Lord, you will not be able to read that. You will not mind what happens to your body. That's the reason Paul says it very clearly. Don't get afraid for the people who kill your body, but get afraid for the person who kills your spirit. So beautiful, right? Very, very beautiful. Okay, let's go a little bit further. Just imagine, okay? That is called the test of fire. Let's go to the Wednesday's lesson, and you'll be able to find a very interesting, what Sister Lalita was talking about. Look into Daniel chapter 3, verse 25. You see, the image was there. Of course, second chance was given to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They never bowed down. And, 10 times the heat of the furnace was repeated in every end.
7 times.
7 times, right? 7 times it was heated up. And then 3 strong men comes and takes these guys and puts them into the fiery furnace, right? And the people who put them into the furnace burn. Listen to this one, verse 25. What does the Bible say?
He answered and said, Lord, I see 4 men loose walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God.
Listen to this one. We just talked about the Spirit, right? Who was Nebuchadnezzar? He was a chosen one of God. Do you know that? There's a twist here. Understand this one. It is the beauty of this lesson. Nebuchadnezzar was a chosen son of God. Even though he exalted himself in every act of life, even though God manifested him straight, what was the Spirit which enabled him to say these words? Who is that 4th man who is walking like the Son of Something should remind us of the Jeffery. The Bible is absolutely very clear. When the disciples were there on the mount of transfiguration, when Jesus was revealed by God himself through his Spirit, what did Jesus say? It is not the flesh and blood that has revealed to you. What about when John the Baptist, when he said, that is the Lamb which taketh away the sins of the world. It is not the flesh and blood that has been revealed. Paul says it very clearly. Anybody who doesn't accept Jesus as the Son of God, right? He is from the devil, the Bible says. If this heathenistic king called Nebuchadnezzar acknowledges, and who gave him that knowledge of stating that he was the Son of God? First of all, he was a heathen king. Number two, he never lived in a God whom we serve. He never had anything, he never knew about who Son of God was all about. Where did he get this knowledge from? Don't you think so? The Spirit had revealed to him in every angle. If not, who is that fourth man? Who is there walking? You don't know that. But it specifically says about Son of God. Son of God in the Old Testament and the New Testament represents Jesus. What does it mean? It simply means that Allah keeps his promises. Isaiah 43:2, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, whatever it is, God is ever faithful. And he says that in every difficult time, whatever you call upon me, and I will answer. He proved that statement of God is always there with us. Matthew chapter 1 verse 21, Emmanuel, God with us. That makes sense? I think so. The Spirit of the Lord gave him the knowledge and wisdom at that moment to find that Jesus was there. So Nebuchadnezzar was so privileged to see Jesus walking in the midst of. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Okay, good. Let's go a little bit further. Okay, and then Ellen White says it very clearly in Patriarchs and Prophets 5:8 and 5:9. But the Lord did not forget his own, as his witnesses were cast into the furnace. The Savior revealed himself then in person, and together they walked in the midst of fire, and the presence of the Lord of heat and cold. The flames lost their power to consume. No wonder when Jesus calmed the waves which was raging. The disciples made a statement. How can the nature reveal, or how can the nature obey this man's word? Again, it shows the sovereignty of God. He's an arbitrary God, and he's all powerful, and is all knowledgeable. That is the beauty, of what happened. And then there's a question here. As Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego says it very clearly, even though if our Lord doesn't loosen us, but still will not worship him, what will be our stand in this last days? What is hindering for us to not believe in Christ? What is hindering that our faith have been diminished? It is not the amount of faith that we have, it is the quality of faith that we possess. Make sense? It is not the quantity of faith, it is the quality of faith which we possess. Okay, any questions we have in this one? Any questions? Just imagine, this incident would have happened. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego would have been burnt. Okay, we will take that example. What about Isaiah? You know how he was killed? Very devastating story. What about the disciples? They were killed all in a different angle. What about John the Baptist? Was God not present with them? Was not God present with them? mistake have I done? Why is this problem to me in this young age? Questioning God. Why can't God do a miracle for me today? And yesterday I got an opportunity to speak to the girl again and give me about, what happens if sometimes our prayers are not answered? Where will our faith go?
For that question, God is the Alpha and Omega, and He knows what is best for each person, and He does things according.
You can tell that. Your experience is fine. What about an atheist when he comes? Where is God? What is he doing? Is he not mindful? There was one person who argued with Rami last week. There was a person who argued with me, and he said that why all this problem of all this reading this word of God, mark of the beast, and Sunday law, a whole lot of things are coming up. Instead of why not God simply come and appear and tell everything and say this is what it is, and everybody will believe.
So there's a great controversy going behind and in this world.
Great controversy which is going on. But the question is this: why can't God straight away come and do things? Come up here, get things done, everything is fine. Come to Sister Larita and say, why are you simply struggling so much? Okay, it is not that your plan is this way, this is what it is all about. Okay, you're going to live for 10 long years and then this is what is going to happen. Everything come and bring it everything to you.
I think like the God should come and say, whoever will come worship me, whoever believes me, come this side.
Come this side, yeah, go this side, and everything. Look, the whole problem is solved. Why is it, why is it becoming so complicated? Have you ever thought about this question? The only one thing, let me be very honest with you. Let us take the example when Jesus was there 2,000 years ago. Jesus did a lot of miracles, right? Did the Pharisees know? Yes. Did the kings know? Yes. Everybody knew, right? But in spite of that, when Jesus was on a trial, somebody asked something. Hey, you know that we have the authority to get you out of this problem? You please show us a miracle now. And Jesus didn't do a miracle there. I want to ask you this question. If Jesus would have done a miracle there, things would have been changed? You wouldn't have been died on the cross?
Plan of salvation
Would they believe Jesus as a Messiah? Things would have been changed? These things have been given for each one of us. You know why? To admonish, to experience living a life. He's an arbitrary rule. He knows what is best. Everything happens for good. Those who love the Lord. And actually, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were not so guaranteed they will not be able. Even Jesus himself was not so guaranteed when he died on the cross of Calvary. And that's one of the reasons he says, oh, this cup is so bitter. I don't want God. But if it is not your way, that's the beauty of it. Let's go a little bit further and okay. Now.
Just the answer is we have to tell somebody else you why or then why is this trouble and all that. That's how we
See, the thing is, when you talk about problems, when you talk about difficulties, when you talk about sicknesses, it's not so easy to convince unless the Spirit of the Lord will be able to convince them. That's one thing that I've experienced. Sometimes I keep mum. Sometimes I don't have answers. Sometimes I try to give an example, but they're not ready to take about it just that way. But only one thing, only the Spirit of the Lord can contend with each one of our lives to give that answer in every area. Okay? So, the last part of it, we talks about the secret of such a faith. Only one thing we know. That the Lord in His own infinite mercy, that God will answer prayers. God's will to confirm our will Rather, authentic faith does not seek to bend God's will to conform to our will. Rather, it surrenders our will to the will of God. And the beauty is this. The real characterizes that we see from Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego is we show real faith when we pray to the Lord for what we want, but trust Him to do what's best for us. Even if at times we don't understand what is happening or why it's happening. Just bow down and trust in His name. And He has the best of the better plan for each one of our lives. From furnace to palace, God gives us an opportunity that if you and I are tried in the furnace, we'll have an opportunity of a palace. And just imagine Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and Daniel. They faced a whole lot of difficulties and problems, yes, right? But in spite of that, you see the reward which was given to them. And no wonder in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9, the Bible says, these are they. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard of what the Lord has prepared for His children, those who love. And we could see from Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego the love that they had towards Christ and the experience that they enjoyed with Him. And we could see the reward we reaped in the end. Yes.
Same way, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was faithful to God, they were able to so King Saul, can because of our faithfulness, can somebody see Jesus in us? We have to be mindful of that. Can at least one person see Jesus in our words,
In our actions, in our thoughts.
work,
Wherever we are, we have to be as a testimony for Him. Yeah, Sister Amanda, you have something?
Oh, I was about to say, one of the pastors said
Ah.
that what God couldn't reveal Himself through the whole generation of children of Israel, He accomplished that through Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego on that day.
Oh.
They revealed, those three friends revealed God at the point of their death, and they were faithful.
Yeah. So only the faithful ones will be able to be rewarded. We can put it that way. And then the last, I like this in the book of Revelation. And there's a song which was sung by David Phelps. So beautiful. These are they who came out of the great tribulation. And they are washed by the blood of the Lamb. Have you heard the song? So beautiful. Yeah. These are they who have come out of great tribulation. They are washed by the blood of the Lamb. So it's a beautiful song. So there is a reward waiting for us. The difficulties what we face might be sickness, even death is very little comparing to the reward what God has in store for each one of us. So let's strive for that in these last days. Be faithful to Him, and our names will be written in the book of life. And I know that when the Lord comes the second time, we are His children. God bless us. Any questions? If not, the offering will be collected. Yeah, it is such a beautiful lesson. I really enjoyed teaching this one, and I like to read before we close. It says, the season of distress before God's people will call for a faith that will not falter. His children must make it manifest that that He is the only object of their worship, and that no consideration, not even that of life itself, can induce them to make the least concession to false worship. To the loyal heart, the commands of sinful, finite men will sink into the insignificance beside the word of the eternal God. Truth will be obeyed, though the result be imprisonment or exile or death. Whatever it is, faith, let us not waver. Let's sit down in prayer. Gracious God in heaven, we want to thank you for the beautiful lesson, Father, which illuminated from your word. Give us the measure of faith through your Spirit in these last days. We can stand firm in your will and be victorious. Let Jesus give us the victory in these last days. To stand for the faith which you have instilled in our mind and soul. Thank you for everything once again. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Let's just take 5 minutes of break. Come back for praise and worship live.